name is Helene and I am back today to do a Kindle haul. I have been using my Kindle a lot more recently, so I have also purchased some books on my Kindle and that's what I'm going to show you today. I'm going to divide this up into two parts, and the first part is going to be some books that I purchased that are part of the Man Booker Prize long list of 2015. First we have Did You Ever Have a Family by Bill Clegg. This is a book that I read about and I purchased it, but now I have forgotten the plot. So I can't tell you too much about it, but it must be an interesting read since it was longlisted for the Man Booker Prize, and I'm just interested to read some of those books. Another one is The Chimes by Anna Smale. Now this one is supposed to be about music, and when I read the synopsis I got a feeling of this being like literary fiction mixed with music and with some fairy tale elements, but I could be completely wrong on that. I haven't read it yet, but I just was intrigued when I read the synopsis. So, and this is also some people's favorite book of the year, I've heard, so obviously that's going to make me interested to read it. A Spool of Blue Thread by Anne Tyler. Another book that sounded interesting, but not as interesting as the other ones, but at the same time it's one of those books that doesn't have a very complex plot line, but it deals with different characters and different perspectives, and that is what sold me. I like these kinds of books that follow different characters and how their lives entwine, and I think that's what I'm going to get from this one. And the last one I got from the long-listed Man Booker Prize list is The Fisherman by Chigoshi Obioma. Another book that a lot of people have already read and really liked, so I'm obviously interested. This is going to be about some fishermen, and if I'm not mistaken, they are in Nigeria, but I could be wrong about that. So let's move on to the books that are not part of the Man Booker Prize long list. The first one is a fantasy book that I'm very skeptical about, but I have been wanting to read it for half a year now, I think, so I finally decided to get the first book in the series, and that is Retribution Falls by Chris Wooding. I've heard of two other persons who have read this series and loved it, really loved it, and keep recommended it, and because of those two persons I finally got the first book. They pushed me to do it. This is supposed to be a fantasy series, but also kind of like urban fantasy and maybe sci-fi, I don't know. It's way out of my comfort zone. I don't read sci-fi, I'm not much into urban fantasy, but I'm willing to give it a try. Next we have a classic, which I was supposed to read in September, but I read 2% of it and then I gave up. And that is A Suitable Boy by Vikram Seth. Now, the reason why I wanted to read this one is because it is part of the BBC Top 100 Books list, and also some booktubers asked me if I wanted to read it with them in September, so I said yes. But I gave up, as I said, because this is a 1500 page book, and right now I'm not in the mood to read those kind of long books. I just can't deal with it. I'm more in the mood for quick reads that will not take too much time and effort to read. So I've decided to put this one on hold for a little bit and maybe read it in 10 years, I don't know, but at least I have it on my Kindle now, waiting for me. I also got the Farseer trilogy by Robin Harb. I am in the process of reading her fourth series called the Rainwell Chronicles series, and I still have one more book to go in that one, but the thing is that it's the fourth series that she's written, and you are supposed to start from the beginning. So the Farseer trilogy is the first series that she wrote in this world of the Elderlings, I think it's called. And I'm going to read this series straight after having finished the Rainwell Chronicles, so that's why I got it. I also got a historical fiction book, and that is The Constant Princess by Philippa Gregory. I'm sure you may have heard of this book. It is about the Tudor age. It's about the princess of Spain, I think, who was the princess in England during the Tudor age, and I'm interested to learn more about her. I have heard that Philippa Gregory's books tend to be not accurate, but somewhat accurate, so you cannot trust them fully when it comes to the historical details, but I'm still interested to read it. And if I like it, there will be way more books in this series to look forward to. Next, I got a book by Margaret Atwood, and that is Oris and Craig. This is supposed to be one of her best books, and alone for that I want to read it. Don't really remember what it's about, but I'm pretty sure it's the first one in a trilogy, the McAdam trilogy. So if I like it, I once again will have more books to look forward to. Now, one night I was lying in bed and checking my Twitter account, and then suddenly someone tweeted that all of the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon was available on Amazon Kindle for like $2.50. So I immediately went online and got all of the first 7 books in the series. So I already had the first 3 books on my shelves, which are Outlander, A Dragonfly in Amber, and Voyager. But now I also have the 4 next books, which are Drums of Autumn, The Fiery Cross, A Breath of Snow and Ashes, and An Echo in the Bone. Yeah, I am interested to read this in the upcoming years. It's obviously not going to be a series that I will be reading next week, but I have something to look forward to. I have 3 more books I need to tell you about. The first one is You by Caroline Kepnes, which is an adult thriller, and it says on the front cover that this is the thriller of the year. And alone for that, I'm interested to read it because I want to read the thriller of the year. This is another one of those books that a lot of people have read and loved because it is kind of unique, I think. It is told from a second person perspective, from a you perspective, and that sounds interesting. Another thriller I got, which is not a mystery thriller, but just a plain thriller, maybe a dystopian one, that is The Long Walk by Stephen King. Now, I've already read this book, so I'm going to talk more about it in my September wrap-up, but yeah, it's about some boys who have to walk and walk and walk for miles and miles, and if they stop walking, they will be shot. And the last book I got is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, the 4th book in the Throne of Glass series, which I kind of like. I mean, it's not my favorite fantasy series out there, but it's very entertaining and it's very addictive. I've already read the first 3 books in the series and also the novella binder, so of course I had to get the 4th one and read that one as well. I'm actually currently reading it, so if I finish it, you can look forward to it in my September wrap-up. And that is it for my Kindle haul. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching and have a great day, everyone. Happy reading and bye-bye.